Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So, this news broke a while back, but I haven't had a chance to share it with you yet. And I think it's really important to show the horrific disparity in treatment between men and women in Texas. So, here's the disturbing details. There was a woman named Catherine Herring, or is a woman named Catherine Herring. She discovered that her husband Mason was secretly feeding her abortion medication while he was feigning concern that she needed to take better care of herself for the baby's sake. So the Herrings were apparently living separately at the time. They were in counseling, they were trying to work through their marital issues, but he decided they should live apart for a while because he said he needed to, quote, work on himself. This was right after, by the way, she caught him texting a former female colleague who he claimed he had cut ties with. So I got to stop right here. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm going to stop right here because, ladies, I'm going to say something. It's a little crude, but it's a fact. In case your mama never told you, the fact is men don't leave unless they have something else to stick it in. I'm just saying. Consider that to be my PSA, my public service announcement for the day. If I had been friends with Catherine Herring, I would have pulled her aside. I would have given her the Whoopi Goldberg talk. I would have sat her down. I would have said, Catherine, you in danger, girl. That is not a good sign. So anyway, back to the story. The Herrings were supposedly working on their marriage. They discovered that she was pregnant during this split, and this was going to be their third child. The counselor recommended that they spend some time together, try to come to, an understanding about this. And Catherine says, we had just spent a week together. They were spending time over spring break watching movies. They were cuddling on the couch. She said they were telling each other they love, I love you. And so Catherine thought, he's just being romantic when he tried to bring her breakfast in bed. So this was in April of 2022. She soon realized something was not quite right because Mason became aggressive about her finishing the water that he brought her. She told the Daily Beast, quote, he starts urging me like, chug it, I need to go. And he kind of had anger in his voice. All of a sudden, I was like, something weird is going on. And that's when I looked down into the cup and saw that the water wasn't clear. So an indictment that was filed later on in this case says that Catherine became violently ill after that. She started bleeding within 30 minutes of him leaving. And so she went to the hospital. They did a urine sample. Her urine was almost black. So Catherine suspected that she was being poisoned, but she said, this is my husband. This is someone who I've been married to for 10 years. I want to believe the best in him, the father of my children. So she said, she was going to be cautious, of course, and collect evidence, but she was trying to hold out hope and still think the best of him. So he keeps trying to bring her suspicious drinks. He keeps bringing her all this stuff. He brought her at one point a bottle of orange juice. The seal had already been broken on it when he brought it in. There was powder in the bottom of that. So she starts hiding these things. She starts hiding the cups and bottles. She is not drinking this stuff. Eventually, Catherine took everything to a private investigator. He then helped her install hidden cameras, both on the exterior and interior of her home. And then they sent the cups and bottles to a lab to be tested. So sure enough, the exterior video camera catches Mason throwing out trash. And she said, not to be mean, but he doesn't do any chores around the house. So that was unusual. So she goes out to the trash, she checks it, and she finds an empty pack of from an abortion pill. 2 days after that, a hidden camera in her kitchen, she had it in the air duct in her kitchen. She saw Mason on that camera dumping a white powder into her beverage. So the following day, she went to the police. She brings them this evidence. Now, you would think this is Texas, right? This is one of the most strict states in regard to abortion laws. This is the state where women are being left to bleed out in the parking lots of the hospital because doctors are so afraid to treat them when they are clearly losing the baby, right? This is a state that tried to force a woman to carry a baby to term and give birth to this baby, even though it was quite literally killing her from the inside out, and the baby had zero chance of survival. Well, apparently, when it's a man who tries to terminate the pregnancy, Texas is totally cool with it. Totally different stance. First of all, she said it took almost a full month for them to even arrest him. Even though she had all this video evidence, she has the bottles, the cups, all of this stuff. Several months after his arrest, the district attorney, this was a man named Anthony Osso, he was apparently very interested in this case. He did a press conference, he's, announced the charges, blah, blah, blah. Then, a few months into it, he announces he's departing from the DA's office, and he's going to go to work for the private law firm that was representing her husband. So, in the meantime, Catherine gives birth. She gives birth to their baby 10 weeks premature. The baby weighed just over 3 pounds, so she spent 7 weeks in the neonatal intensive care. To this day, she says that the baby still needs to eat with a feeding tube. And according to the Daily Beast, this little girl has weekly appointments for physical, occupational, and speech therapy. Catherine Herring says, quote, "She is a special needs child. Every day is a struggle for her. This impacts us on a daily basis, even now." So Mason Herring almost killed this child, destroyed the child's life, destroyed any hope of a future that she would have had, and he destroyed his ex-wife's life. Now his ex-wife has a special needs child. And I had a friend who had a special needs child. He survived until I believe he was about 30 years old. And it was not only the most emotionally and physically draining thing that you can put a parent through, but it is financially draining. I mean, you can't just go get a job because you have to pay for 24-hour round-the-clock care for that child if you go to work. So it's like, what do you do? Right? And there's only so much that our government does for people in this situation, unfortunately. So this guy ruins his wife's life, ruins the child's life. What happened to him? What happened to this guy as a result of trying to end his wife's pregnancy without her consent or knowledge? He was allowed to plead down to 1 count of injury to a child under 15, and he received only 180 days in jail and 10 years of parole. Oh, and the court said you can no longer contact your ex or this child ever again. That's it. In a victim impact statement, Catherine said, quote, "I do not believe that 180 days is justice for attempting to kill your child 7 separate times." So this case proves once and for all, unequivocally, that these archaic regressive abortion laws that the Republicans are pushing through have nothing whatsoever to do with a baby or being pro-life. That is bullshit. When you consider that women are being charged with murder or manslaughter for trying to end their own pregnancy on their own terms, something that's in their own body, or that doctors are being threatened with arrest or the loss of their medical license for performing an abortion at the request of the patient, and sometimes to save that patient's life, it is painfully obvious conservative lawmakers just want to control women. Period. End of story. And if I'm wrong, then where is all the outrage? Why aren't right-wingers jumping up and down? Why aren't they screaming at the top of their lungs about what this guy did? Why haven't we heard about this on Fear News Network or any of the other right-wing trash shows? They don't care about this case because when a white man does it, it's totally fine with them. Whether it's abortion, whether it's sexual assault, or anything else, they are totally fine with it as long as the perpetrator is a white male. Anyway, yeah, infuriating story, ridiculous outcome. Anyway, I will let you know if I hear any more. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like this video, share it, become a subscriber if you have not. If you can donate, truly appreciate it. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.